Hello everybody, this is 5.4 and here we're talking about congruent triangles and congruent statements. So let's talk about triangles first. Congruent triangles have the same shape and size. That means all corresponding parts, which would be angles and sides, are congruent. And we're going to talk a little bit here about what corresponding means. So when we have a congruent statement, what that is saying is which corresponding parts are congruent, or what parts are corresponding essentially, or the same. So if we look here, the nice way to read these is they will go in order. So A is the same as D. B is the same as E. And finally, C is the same as F. You just read it left to right, and those are the ones that are equal. So you'll see that there. You can also do sides. So AB is going to be the same as DE. Or you could say that BC is the same as EF. And of course, the last one would be that AC is the same as DF. So let's talk about corresponding. Now, when we're doing proofs in our next video tomorrow, there is going to be this important word that we're going to keep using, and that is CPCTC. Okay, and what does that mean? Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So again, if they correspond, meaning if A is the same place as D on the triangle, or if B is the same place as E on the triangle, then those are going to be congruent. So let's talk about how we can write some of these congruency statements. So again, we're taking this statement and we are just rewriting which angles are congruent. So I'm going to start with my first triangle, angle J. So angle J is the first letter of that statement. So that's going to be congruent to the first letter of our second statement, which is P. We're going to do the same thing with angle K is going to be congruent to angle Q. And finally, angle L is going to be congruent to angle R. So we just went left to right, bam, bam, bam. Again, we can do the same thing for sides. So JK is going to be the same as PQ. Okay, we can do the next two. KL is congruent to QR. And last but not least, we're going to do JL is congruent to PR. Okay, write another valid congruency statement. So what I'm going to do, and there's a couple different ways you could do this, but I'm going to draw my little triangle, and I'm going to write it backwards. So I'm going to write LKJ is congruent to, and again, I'm going to write this one backwards, RQ. P. L is in the same spot as R, K is in the same spot as Q, J is in the same spot as, did I do that one right? Yep, J and P. Perfect, yep. All right, I'm going to zoom out here so you can do 2. All right, let's move on to 3. So now they're giving us our statement and they want us to complete some things over here that are equal. So I'm going to go ahead and label each of these diagrams so we can kind of get a little better feel for it. So KP, that's the first one. I'm going to give that one line. Okay, the second one is AY, so I'm going to give that one line. Then PM, so I'm going to give that 2 lines. That goes with YC, so that gets 2 lines. And of course, our third one gets 3 lines. That way we can kind of identify side 1, side 2, side 3. All right, here we go. KM, so that's our 3-lined side. Our other 3-line side would be CA. Now KM, K corresponds with A, so I have to do AC first. CY is our 2-sided figure, so CY is going to go with MP. And finally, PK. PK is our 1-sided figure. P, and then K, so we're going to do Y, then A. Again, order does matter. You got to be careful. Okay, so let's do angle Y. So angle Y is right here. That's between 1 and 2. The angle on our other triangle between 1 and 2 is angle P. Here's angle K. Angle K is between 1 and 3. The angle between 1 and 3 on the other triangle is going to be angle A. ACY is the same thing as saying angle C over here, and that's between side 3 and side 2. So the angle over here between side 3 and side 2 is angle M. Now again, you don't have to actually look at the diagram. You could have just looked at our congruency statement. For example here, Y is the middle, so the angle that would match to that would be P because they are both in the middle. All right, so let's draw some congruency statements here. M, P, K. Okay, M goes with C. P goes with Y. Oops. Back up. C, Y. And then obviously our final one is A. See ya. Okay, let's do one more. Y, A, C. So Y corresponds with P. A corresponds with K, and C corresponds with M. P, K, M. Perfect. All right, let's talk some more here. This one, we got some measurements on here, and they want us to find our measurements. So BN, let's see our statement here. So I'm going to label my diagram here. So S to T gets 1, T to W gets 2, and then 3. So do the same thing here. B to F gets 1. F to N. B to F. There we go. F to N gets 2 and 3. Perfect. Okay, so BN is right here. That is my side 3. So I have to find my side 3 on my other triangle, which I clearly didn't label correctly there. There we go. So that means BN is equal to 9. If they are congruent, BN is equal to WS, then 9 and 9. So now we can do the same thing with TW. TW is our side 2. So our side 2 over here, and that's 14, which means TW is also 14. Okay, lastly is BF. And ST. ST is 17, so BF is also 17. All right, let's talk some triangles here, or some angles, I guess. So angle W is between side 2 and side 3. The other angle between side 2 and side 3 is N. N is 82 degrees, so W is also 82 degrees. Okay, next we have B. Angle B corresponds to angle S. Well, angle S is 67, which means angle B is also 67. Now for this third angle, we do have a corresponding angle, but it's not labeled. F goes along with T, and T and F don't have any label. But we can use what we learned in our last section, which was that 3 angles in a triangle add up to 180. So I'm going to do 180 minus 82 minus 67, which gives me angle F of 31 degrees. There's 5. Go ahead and pause the video. Copy that down. All right, let's look at 2 here. 6. 6 is saying find the values of x, y, and z using our congruency statement. So let's start with x here. X is u, v. The first 2 letters, that's going to correspond to TS. So that means 12x minus 7 equals 53. When I solve that, I'm going to get x equals 5. Okay, now let's do our y. So y is going to be right here along RS. RS corresponds to WV. That's 57, so I'm going to write that down. So I have 5y minus 33 equals 57. When I solve that, I'm going to get y equals 18. All right, folks, here we go. Last thing here, z. Z is between u and w. So that corresponds to that would be TR, which is 50. So 3z plus 14 equals 50. And when I solve for z, I will get 12. Very nice. Okay, let's do the same thing here with 7. 7, let's find our matching angles here. So let's start with x. X is h. H is in the middle. That corresponds with n. N is 115. That means 6x minus 29 equals 115. When I solve for that, I'm going to get x equals 24. Okay, let's do our next one. Maybe let's do y. So y is angle F. Angle F corresponds to S. So 3y minus 1 equals, we got to find S here. So to find S, we can plug in that x. So we're going to plug in 24. When I plug in 24, I'm going to get 6 times 24 minus 9. Oops. Which is 135. So I've got 180. Let me do this over here. 180 minus 135 minus 36, right? That'll give me that third angle. Which is approximately 29. So now that I know S, I can go in and I can solve for y. So y is going to be equal to 10. All right, last one here. Z. Let's do Z in green. Here we go. So Z is associated with C. C is associated with P, and P is 36. So that's going to give me 4Z minus 32 equals 36. And again, when we solve that, you're going to get Z equals 17. All right, for 8, we're going to draw our own triangles and see what we know. So let's go ahead and draw those suckers in here. Okay, so I'm going to do D, E, and F. I'm going to draw another triangle next to it. I'm going to label it going counterclockwise again. J, K, L. That way I don't even have to label them as being congruent. I already know they're in the corresponding spots just by looking at them. Okay, so we know DE is 18, so I'm going to write that down. We know EF is 23. We know DF is 9x minus 23. We know JL is 7x minus 11. And JK is 3y minus 21. And finally, that's it. Okay, so we have to find the values of x and y. So for our x's here, again, because I label them the way I do, I know our corresponding parts of those bottom. So I can just do 9x minus 23 is equal to 7x minus 11. Okay, when you take the time to solve that, you get x equals 6. Next, we have our y. Y is running along the left-hand side. Left-hand side here is 18. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. 3y minus 21 equals 18. And once I solve, I'm going to get y equals 13. I'm going to zoom out here so you have 9 to copy down. Once you're done with this, again, the assignment is listed up above. You're going to use that homework packet and do the homework check. If you guys have any questions at all, please let me know. Have a great day.